If you've been dreaming of starting an Etsy shop, but you've been stuck in research mode for weeks, overthinking your shop name, wondering if you even have a product people will buy, and worried you'll waste hours creating something that never sells, then this video is going to feel like having someone sit right next to you walking you through every step of the puzzle piece by piece. And just so you know, you are learning from someone who has been there. My name is Lucretia. I've made over $27,000 selling digital products on Etsy as a homeschooling stay-at-home mom, all without posting on social media or paying for ads. I've also shared this strategy with over 700 people, mostly busy moms like me, and they've been able to make sales too with limited time, no design skills, and little to no tech skills. So if I can do this only working while my kids are sleeping in the early mornings and during nap time, you can too. I'm gonna walk you through the exact 5 steps to get your Etsy shop up and running without all of the extra fluff that makes this process way harder than it needs to be. All right, let's dive into step 1. Choose your first product idea. Now, here's what I need you to hear. Your first product isn't permanent. It's just a starting point. So many sellers get stuck here because they think, what if I pick the wrong thing? What if nobody buys it? But the truth is, your first product is just practice. It's how you learn the ropes. It's like a test run to figure out how Etsy works. You don't need some groundbreaking idea to start. The best way to get momentum is to start with something simple. Planners, checklist, clip art, invitations, templates, products people are already buying every single day. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just putting your spin on something that's already proven to sell. Think about it how like multiple restaurants sell a cheeseburger, but they each make it their own with different toppings or a special sauce. Or how every furniture store has dining room sets, but the styles and the designs make them unique. It's the same with digital products. Your product doesn't need to be brand new to be valuable. And please do not buy into the myth that you need to niche down before you've even started. You don't. The thing I would focus on the most is finding a product that has a high search volume and low competition, and I do this using a tool called Everbee. A high search volume and low competition means a lot of people are searching for this product so they can buy it, but not that many people are making it. This creates what we call a gap in the market, and that's where you want to fit in as a brand new Etsy seller. So instead of asking, what's the perfect product, try asking, what's one simple thing I could create this week? That shift alone takes away so much pressure and gets you moving faster. Now let's move on to step number 2, create your product. Now that you picked an idea, it's time to create your product. And this is where I need to tell you about a mistake I made that I highly recommend you do not repeat. With my very first digital product, I created it from scratch. I had no design background, no real plan, just me in Canva trying to figure it out. And it took me weeks. And honestly, it was discouraging because I thought, if every product takes this long, how will I ever build my shop? We were a 1-income family and we needed this extra source of income so we could stop going further and further into debt. Here's what I wish I had known back then. You don't have to start with a blank screen. You can use PLR templates, which are done for you digital products that come with resale rights. You can edit them in Canva, change up the colors, the fonts, or layout, and instantly have a product that looks like yours. Using PLR products saves you weeks, if not months, of trial and error. And it's way more affordable than hiring a designer, which can cost you hundreds of dollars every single product. So here's the framework I recommend instead. First, start with a PLR product or a template. This way you don't have to stare at a blank screen. And second, edit it to match your style. Swap out the words, the colors, the fonts, whatever you want to make it feel more like yours. And third, keep it simple. Done and listed is better than perfect and never launched. Your first product doesn't need to win design awards. It just needs to exist so you can open your shop and start selling. And that brings us to step number 3, set up your Etsy shop. Once you've got your first product created, it is time to officially open your Etsy shop. A lot of beginners overcomplicate this step. They spend weeks stressing over their shop name, their branding colors, even what their banner should look like. And none of that matters right now. When I started my shop, I wasted way too much time on things that did not make me money. I thought I had to have the perfect name and the perfect banner before I could move forward. But the truth is, you can change your shop name later. You can update your banner whenever whenever you want to. So don't let that stuff hold you back from starting your shop. Here's what matters when setting up your shop. First, you need to create your account and your basic shop info like your name, country, and payment info. A common question I get asked is, do I need an LLC to start? And the answer to that is no. You can start selling on Etsy as an individual. If you want to set up an LLC for taxes or legal protection, you can always do that down the road. Another common question I get asked is, do I set my shop to United States even if I live in a different country? The answer to that is also no. Always put your real country of residence. Etsy needs accurate information for payment information and taxes. Even if you live somewhere outside of the United States and you plan on most of your customers living in the United States, Etsy will automatically convert prices and any information to fit the country the buyer is in. So if you live in Canada, prices will automatically be converted from CAD to USD. So you don't have to worry about that. The second thing you'll want to do is upload your first product. Etsy will not let your shop go live without at least one listing. You don't need a full shop of products to go live. You can start with one and add more as you go. And this can even be a filler listing. It doesn't have to be a real listing if you're not ready yet, but you do need at least one active listing to open your shop. And the third thing is keep your shop simple. Canva has free banners and logos that you can edit and use in your shop. It can take you minutes to make your shop look professional. So don't waste weeks trying to figure out the perfect shop name, the perfect banner, the perfect logo. All of that can be changed later. And none of it will really make a difference in your sales. After making over $27,000 and helping multiple people make their very first sale on Etsy, I can tell you with confidence that all of those little things like your shop banner, logo, shop name, none of that is going to make or break your shop. But skipping this next step will guarantee you never make a penny on Etsy. And that brings us to step number 4, list your first product. This is the step where Etsy asks you to fill in a bunch of boxes, but don't worry. I'm going to walk you through each step so you know exactly what to expect. Starting with your title. The title works like a label on the front of a box. It tells the buyer what's inside. Use simple words someone would type into the Etsy search bar to find your product. So an example could be weekly meal planner template or dinosaur birthday invitation. Don't stress about using the perfect keywords right now. Just make it clear and easy to read. Next are your listing photos and listing video. And not to sound dramatic, but your listing photos are everything. This is what makes people click. You'll want to use Canva mockups to make your digital product look more realistic and possibly add text on your listing photo to explain what they're getting. And for your listing video, Etsy lets you upload a short video, but it does not have to be fancy. One simple option is to create 3 extra listing photos in Canva, animate them, make them 5 seconds each, and download it as a 15-second video. That way, you get movement in your images without you having to film anything. Even a simple screen recording of you showing how to edit your product can work perfectly. And then one thing I want to call out is this thumbnail section. The thumbnail is just a cropped version of your main listing photo, but it's the most important one because it's what buyers see in search results, recommendations, and on your shop's homepage. Make sure the most important part of your product is centered so it doesn't get cut off, and you want to use big readable text if you put text on your listing photo so buyers instantly know what the product is. Then we move on to the digital file upload. Since you're selling a digital product, Etsy needs the file your customer will download after purchase. You can either upload your finished digital product directly on Etsy, or you can make a thank you page that links to your digital product. Sometimes you'll get an error that says file size too large, and many people recommend zipping the files, but I found that I got a lot of customer complaints when I zipped the files because they couldn't figure out how to unzip them. Now, in the sales sprint, I show my students how to use Google Drive and a thank you page to easily deliver the product to the customer. The next section is your description. Keep this simple and beginner friendly. Answer these 3 main questions. What is it? How do I use it? What exactly do I get? And always remind buyers that this is a digital product, nothing will be shipped to them. Then we move on to the price and quantity. When it comes to pricing, don't base your price on how long it took or how hard you worked to create your product. This is digital. You make it once and it sells over and over again for months, even years to come. Look at what similar products are selling for on Etsy and price yours around that same range. That's the easiest way to know what buyers are already willing to pay for this product. Pricing is strategic, not emotional. You can always adjust your price later, so don't overthink this. And for the quantity, I always put 999. This way, Etsy will automatically deliver my product after someone buys it. Now I'm going to walk you through the details section so you can get your first product listed today if you wanted to. Let's start with the category. This is where Etsy tries to figure out what type of product you're selling. Start typing the name of your product like invitation or planner or clip art, and Etsy will give you options. Pick the most specific category available, but again, don't overthink it. Etsy's algorithm is smart enough to figure out what your product is. Next are attributes. These are extra details Etsy asks about your product, like the color, size, or occasion. Fill out as many as you can. The more information you give Etsy, the easier it is for them to know who to show your product to. Then we have tags. Tags are keywords or little phrases someone might type into the Etsy search bar to find your product. You can use up to 13 tags, and I recommend you use all 13 of them. Mix in different phrases people might search, like wedding invitation, printable invite, Canva template. And the cool thing is, Etsy can mix and match your tags. So if someone types in Canva wedding invitation template, your product could still pop up because you've used all of those keywords in your tags. Now let's move on to the materials. Even though your product is digital, Etsy still has this section. You can just add things like digital file, Canva template, PDF download. Keep it simple and accurate so buyers know what they're going to get. The next part is your shop sections. These are like folders inside of your shop that keep everything organized. Shop sections could be like invitations, planners, clip art. You want to create at least one shop section just so your shop looks organized. You can always add more or delete sections as you go along. Then we come to the feature this listing option. This is where you can pin up to 4 products to the top of your shop so buyers will see them first. In this section, you'll want to feature products like your best sellers, seasonal products, or just products you want more eyes on. And last but very important is the renewal option. Every time your listing sells or every 4 months, Etsy charges a small 20-cent fee to renew it. You can choose automatic or manual renewal. I recommend you choose automatic renewal so you won't have to worry about your product being unavailable after every time it sells. If you choose manual renewal, you will have to go into Etsy every time your product sells and make it available again so someone else could buy it, which will obviously slow down your sales because it will be unavailable until you renew it yourself. So that is the process. Do not overcomplicate this. And if you want more details on how do you find tags and do your search engine optimization, you can join me in the sales sprint where I walk you through every single step of this process with video tutorials so you'll know exactly what to do and how to list your product so it gets found and bought. Now that your listing is published, that brings us to step number 5, make your first sale plan. Something that always trips people up is how to get the very first sale. Your first sale isn't about going viral, running ads, or spending all day on social media. It's about setting up a simple plan so Etsy knows who to show your products to. When I opened my Etsy shop, I thought I needed to do all the things: Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook groups. It was exhausting just thinking about it. But my first sale didn't come from any of that. It came from Etsy's search engine itself. And that's exactly what I want you to focus on too. So here's your plan to make your first sale. The first thing you can do is run a grand opening sale. I did 50% off to get those first few clicks and sales rolling in, but you can do whichever percentage off you want. But I noticed that anything above 50% really makes your product more of a no-brainer, and so it's easier for people to say yes and buy it. The second thing you can do is create a promo code. Even if you're not posting on social media, you can make a promo code like welcome30 and share it with your friends, family, or even in an email signature. The third thing you can do is set up your targeted offers. Etsy lets you send offers to people who favorite your item or abandon their cart. You turn this on in your marketing settings, and it's an easy way to nudge people to to go ahead and buy your product without you lifting a finger. The fourth thing you'll want to do is optimize your shop for mobile. Most Etsy browsers are looking around on their phone. You want to double check that your listing photos look good, your text isn't too small, nothing is cut off. After that, you'll want to add more listings quickly. The more listings you have, the more chances you have to show up in search results. But you don't just want to add any random listings. You want to add listings that the person who buys your first product could also go through and buy the other listings you have. So 3 to 5 similar listings that one person could buy. And after that, you just want to make sure you're keeping your shop active. This could be anything from adding a new product, updating a title, your tags, description, or improving your listing photos. In this video, I show you different ways you can keep your shop active that don't take a lot of time. There are no expensive ads, begging family and friends to buy from you, or sending sleazy DM messages to strangers. Your only job right now is to help Etsy understand this is what I sell and this is who it's for. Once Etsy has that data, it can start matching your product to real buyers. This is how you can make sales while you're changing diapers, cooking dinner, or even sleeping, like my students Adana and Sarah. But I want to pause here for a second and be really honest with you. Starting an Etsy shop is simple. The steps themselves are not complicated. You pick a product, create it, set up your shop, and list it. But simple doesn't mean easy. When you start this journey, you are learning multiple new skills at once. You're learning how to design a product in Canva, how to write a title and description that gets found, how Etsy search works, how to price strategically, and even how to handle your own doubts when things don't start selling right away. That's a lot. And it is completely normal to feel overwhelmed at first. But you have to keep reminding yourself to just put one foot in front of the other, and one day this little Etsy shop can change the future for your family. So don't mistake simple for instant or easy. This takes persistence. If it feels overwhelming or complicated at first, don't quit before you give yourself the chance to see what's possible. So if you've been nodding along but quietly thinking, this still feels like a lot to figure out on my own, you don't have to do this by yourself. The Sales Sprint is where I walk you through the entire process step by step. Instead of trying to piece everything together, you'll have me showing you exactly what to do in the right order so you can get your first sale faster. And even better is you won't be alone. You'll be surrounded by other sellers who are on the same journey. People who get it, who will cheer you on, and who will celebrate those first sales with you. So now you know how to get your shop up and running, but the real question is, okay, how do I start making consistent sales? That's exactly what I'm covering in this next video. I'm going to walk you through the exact plan I would follow to hit 100 sales in just 30 days, step by step, no fluff. So click here and let's map it out together.